to Expanding Your Search with Brent and Jody Bailey. We are growing our circles of connection and knowledge with encouraging conversations and positive communications. Today, Brent and Jody welcome
two-time world sales champion, business speaker and coach, and head of a Christian retreat center here in Central Florida, Josh Liske.
And now, here are your hosts, Brent and Jody Bailey.
Guess what day it is? It's Hump Day. That's right. It's Wednesday. And welcome to Expanding Your Search. It is we're almost a week away from the Thanksgiving holiday, and we have a great show planned for you today. I have businessman, speaker, and direct sales world champion, two-time, Josh Liske is going to be here today. He's got a new book and a new movie coming out. Lots to talk about with him. All right, before we get to him, let's head over to the control room where Jody is standing by to talk to you and say hello.
Hi.
Hi. First of all, we're just a week away.
We are. We really are.
A week from tomorrow, we will be celebrating in food coma. I don't know. Is that right? Food coma dumb.
You know, I don't know. I mean, food. I don't know, but it's good.
You know, the great thing about
it's so good.
The great thing about Thanksgiving is turkey is good for you. I mean, it's a food that a lot of folks do eat.
It is, yes.
When they're trying to eat healthy.
Yep.
So if you could just keep it to the vegetables and the turkey, you're pretty clear. You know.
Yeah.
You're in good shape.
I know. You know, I'm going to be spending time.
I probably won't. I definitely am going to have some stuffing of some kind. Or
you know, I love stuffing. I mean, I really do. I mean, that's one of my. You know, those things I ask you about. You know, of the Thanksgiving meal. What is one of your favorites? And a good stuffing.
Bread.
Get bread. It's always bread. Bread and butter. Bread and butter all the time.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to my little cousin Courtney does amazing sweet potato casserole.
Yes, she does. She really does.
That's pretty awesome. So
yeah.
we're looking forward to that. So what are you looking forward to, folks? Drop in the comments below. What are you looking forward to eating next week for Thanksgiving? So
yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
There's so many things you can put on your plate. I mean, it's
Do you try and divide it up once it's on there, though? Like, do you try, like,
instead of eating everything together,
don't let that touch, you know?
I mean, I try, but I'm not going to be like, you know, OCD about it. I'm okay.
There are some things that I don't care if the
things.
gravy gets on. Like the meat, I don't care if the gravy gets on that.
Yes, I mean, like, I will eat the stuffing, the meat, the potatoes,
all that stuff
the gravy, all of it together. In fact, you know, if there's green beans, I'll eat that. All of it together. I mean, it's complimentary. And then I'll get really crazy.
Maybe we should just put it in a blender and drink it.
Well, no, I wouldn't go that far. No. So, yeah.
All right.
Thanksgiving.
Well, when I said that reminded me of a story. When I was youth pastoring at Rhema, my buddy Keith would be down the hall in junior high.
Yeah.
And the biggest, one of the grossest things that they ever, which we didn't do a lot of gross stuff because we didn't want to, cast a shadow on the ministry. But for some reason, it bothered people. It really wasn't that gross. We just took a Happy Meal and blended it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And drank it, but it caused people to throw up.
Just seeing it, or they drank it?
Because they drank it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it tasted just like what you'd expect it to taste like. I mean, it tasted like a cheeseburger and French fries.
You put the toy in there too?
And a Mountain Dew or Sprite or whatever it was. So I don't know, but just blending food, I don't know why.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like
it's all about fun and games here. So
and mashing things up.
All the mashups. All right. Well,
all the mashups.
What's going on this week? What day is today?
Well, today is it's National Take a Hike Day.
Wow.
And that doesn't mean take a hike, get out of here.
That means get outside.
Literally get out of there. Outside and take a hike. Now, if you live in a place where
the
it's
northern states,
freezing.
it's getting harder to do.
Yeah, it is. But there are a lot of people. I see a lot of pictures of people that are just really bundled up and they like to go out and go hiking. I'm just not. I'm not really. We're not.
Listen, there's a lot
hikers.
of like
We'll walk,
here
but-
in Orlando, in Florida. This is the place where when you can hike year round. The problem with it is you have to put up with the wildlife.
You
year
do,
round.
right.
So,
And when I think of hiking, I think of hiking up or,
sure. Yeah.
I mean,
going up hills and
in Florida, we don't have.
we don't have hills.
No,
We don't. We don't even have them.
Now, if you want to hike on the beach,
Or
sometimes the
there
walking
are some
on the
really
sand
nice
is kind of
parks
hard.
that have the trails.
Trails,
through there,
yes,
things like that.
yes. But yeah, so get out there and get your body prepared for what it's
That's
going
right.
to
Go ahead and
partake
work
for
off
next week.
next week's in advance.
Exactly. They do
Go
say
in 5 to 7 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
So you're just back to what you need to be.
Because the next day that it is, the next thing we're going to talk about,
Yeah.
you're also going to need another hike to work this off. It's National Homemade Bread Day.
Well, you're just like in heaven today, aren't you?
No. Yeah. Wait.
This
well,
is like your favorite day now.
it is partnered with National Butter Day.
Of course it is.
This is out. This is my day.
This is I've
Bread and butter
never
day.
seen somebody as addicted to bread and butter as you and your sister are. Right?
And my mother. My mom's the same
Is it the
way.
same way?
And I would say Julianne's the same way. We're bread and butter people.
Carbaholics.
But it's not like all carbs. I mean, it's like there's certain things. Yeah, we like potatoes. Yeah, we like pasta a lot. But when it comes to bread and butter, my grandma was like that. It just.
Listen, everybody likes bread and butter.
I know.
That's why they use the phrase, "Oh, that's my bread and butter."
I've never heard that.
My grandmother, excuse me, great grandmother. My great grandmother used to be the head. I don't know if chef is not the right word. Cook.
Yeah.
Now, here, she was she was the boss. I don't know
Yes.
what's the right word. I guess head cook.
Yeah,
Head cook,
yeah.
probably. At one of the up where my parents live, the old YMCA. Now, this is
Yes.
not one of the new ones where it's all just workout. This
Yeah.
was an old YMCA that
Yeah.
people actually lived in. They had a cafeteria downstairs. She was the head of that.
A big, huge building.
Yeah, big,
We've gone
huge
by
building.
it
And,
before.
people, it was right there by the railroad. So a lot of those guys, on their way through Transmorton trains would stop and, that's where they would stay.
Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of shift guys would come off the railroad, go in there and eat. And so she made the rolls. for
Yeah. Yeah. Her rolls are.
That was
Amazing.
like Jesus. Like
Yes.
Jesus made those rolls.
Yep.
And
Grandma Peggy.
we would eat those rolls like
I would say we talk every Thanksgiving.
Texas Roadhouse has nothing on Grandma Peggy's rolls.
No.
It's
Grandma
true.
Peggy's rolls are amazing.
Yeah.
And I think up until just a few years ago, she still would make them for the
Yeah,
holidays.
until she started to go, get
Yeah,
it.
she's still alive.
Yes, she is.
And I think somebody might have the recipe.
Yes, one of my
And-
cousins has it, and I
Yeah.
need to get it from him because it's amazing.
They're amazing, but it's good to not have it because we'd be making it all the time. But speaking of making bread,
Okay.
my sister Jenny, she is a bread making queen, and she makes challah bread pretty much every Friday
week, yeah.
for Shabbat,
For Shabbat,
and it's unbelievable. It's so good. Different kinds. So anyway, if you are a bread maker,
This is your day.
this is your day. Make some bread. So
All right. What else is going on?
it is also National Education Support Professionals Day.
Wow.
Now that's a mouthful, right?
Yeah.
So do you know what that is? What
I'm
those
going to
people
say
are?
it's the assistants in the classrooms.
It's that. It's the cafeteria workers.
Oh,
It's the janitors.
yeah.
It is the nurses. It is at schools. And, I don't know if you can throw substitute teachers in there. I would say because they're not the year-round teachers. I don't know. But,
Yeah, I don't
but the secretaries, they're the ones that keep the teachers up and running. And, of course, those in the cafeteria keep your kids filled.
That's right.
And fed.
And we have a family member that is a lunch lady.
Yes, we do. We sure do.
so.
And she's doing great doing that.
Yeah,
and
right.
honestly, I mean, this is your day. And if you know any,
Whoa, it's Benny Hinn Show. This is your day.
This is your day.
All right, go ahead.
If you know any education support professional, thank them today because, a lot of times we've got, a teacher's appreciation week or listen, appreciate those that are supporting the school and supporting in different positions.
So here's to Tiffany Oborn.
Yes.
We love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And anybody else that does such a fabulous job.
All right.
So one more is National Baklava Day. I know,
wow.
we kind of took a break from the food and then we're going back to the food. So baklava, do you like baklava?
I do. I wouldn't say it's like something I seek out, but I will eat it if it's in front of me.
Yeah, it's made with, and I love watching things like this. It's phyllo pastry or phyllo. I don't know how you pronounce it, but
I'm hungry now.
I know. We always wind up being hungry after this, but it's filled with chopped nuts, drizzled with syrup or honey. It's definitely, it's a different type of eclectic type of dessert.
It is.
So if you like baklava, I know that there are different flavors you can get. Let us know. Drop down below, give us some recipes. I don't know if I'll cook it, if I'll make it. However, you never know. So,
all right.
That's what
so
I got.
Turkeys are going to be prepared next week.
Yes.
And there's all kinds of different ways people like to deep fry them. That's my personal favorite.
Yeah.
But, there's people that are talking about, you brine them and then cook them. And then other people use different things to
brine
inject
them with?
into them. Yeah. Reynolds Wrap. The fine folks at Reynolds Wrap.
Yes.
They have released a recipe book on how to prepare turkey.
Okay.
Now, this is where
Don't
we're going back
use
to the
Reynolds
crossroads.
Wrap.
No, obviously not. These are recipes inspired by regional hot dog styles.
Okay.
So this is that mashup thing.
Mashup stuff, I'm telling you.
All right. So if you want to go away from the norm, you want to do something that's unusual and different, there is you can Google this. Reynolds Wrap has at least 3 new turkey recipes influenced by regional hot dog styles around the United States.
Okay.
All right. So here they are. The Sans Ketchup Chicago style hot dog. Now, do you know what that is?
No.
That's the one with the relish and the tomatoes and all that. All right.
No ketchup.
Without ketchup.
Without ketchup. Okay.
So that's the first one. Have you ever had a Chicago hot dog?
I think I have.
It's basically a lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they're very good.
So there's the Chicago style without ketchup.
Yeah.
All right. So it's all the vegetables. All right.
Yeah.
Then there's the New York style, which is onion and sauerkraut.
Yes.
On the, but this is turkey cooked that way.
Okay. Right. All right.
And then there is one that I think I would probably try this one.
Okay.
The messy chili cheese dog.
I was going to say, I knew it was going to be some kind of a chili cheese type of thing.
Chili cheese dog turkey. I think I would try that.
Would you?
The picture looks really good.
Well, you can always. I wouldn't ruin the Thanksgiving.
No. Have a traditional one, but then get a little one.
Leftovers.
Yeah, or get a little one.
Right.
Get a little teeny one, little 6 or 7 pounder. And do it with this.
I might do it with the sauerkraut, maybe, because I like sauerkraut.
I don't know. I just think
interesting.
It would
Yeah.
So if you want to go and find those recipes, you want to do your turkey that way, you can find that by Googling it. All right.
Huh.
One more thing. This is big news here.
Yeah.
Reese's has unveiled a massive new peanut butter cup pie just in time for Thanksgiving.
Woohoo!
So it's basically a giant Reese's cup. I mean, it's like this big.
Oh my gosh.
It's pie size.
Okay, is it just me or is Reese's busy right now because they keep coming up with?
They're doing like
so many different things.
The work of the Lord here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's called the Super King size, but it's pie size. And,
it's pie size, so it's not a pie. It's actually just a Reese's.
It's a Reese's cup. It's 3 pounds, 9 inches in diameter. My God, this sounds so good.
Dear Lord.
And it's coming out just for Thanksgiving. All right.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
So it's a gargantuan peanut butter cup.
I know we need to get our friends.
Yep.
So they can enjoy that, and that's all they'll eat.
Yep.
Now,
Anyway,
okay, that's interesting.
I would eat that right now. I would eat that right now.
You'd eat that every day if you could.
Yep. All right. Well, that's what's going on around the country. I got a great guest for you today. Josh Liske is here, so let's jump in with him and expand your search. My guest today is Josh Liske. He is the founder of IHP Global Incorporated, where he does some speaking and coaching. He's also the founder of Chairman Distributing, where he is also in big time into direct sales. He's also part of Liske Christian Academic, where he has a philanthropic arm of his ministry. Josh is a previous two-time world sales champion. He is an author, international public speaker, and recently he became an actor. How convenient is that? He is a father of three and married nearly 15 years to Gina, and he has a heart for the people around the world and nations. Both in the business world and the Christian world, his really passion is to reach out and to mentor and speak life into those people. He has a new book that's coming out soon called Elevate. He's written that with 25 authors from all around the world. He just finished up his debut into acting in a new movie that's coming out with Dean Cain. Of course, we all know Dean from Superman. It's called The Greatest Coach of All Time. He became the chairman of the board of Faith Event Christian Retreat Center, along with many more doors, as he's just moved from one side of the country to the other, all the way up there in Ocala, Florida. Please welcome to the program, Josh Liske, everybody. Hey, Josh, how you doing, buddy? It's been a long time.
Yeah, thanks, Brent, for having me. I'm excited to be here. So,
man, so good to have you. I know that we haven't seen you since, I think, 2019 or maybe 2020 at an Increase event. How has COVID been treating you during this crazy time in our history?
Well, I was running the Midwest division at the time, and we kind of just plowed through, other than about 5 or 6 weeks. Just stayed safe, but we stayed working, we stayed in business, and we actually had some increases through it. So we just stayed moving forward.
Now, when we talk about you being a two-time world sales champion, that is, let's explain to everybody what that is. Tell us what you do.
So I got into direct sales at 18, and then 9 years later became a distributor in the Seattle market. And then 2014, we had the number one franchise, which is not really a franchise, but distributorship, which is like a franchise, over 1,500 offices worldwide, and led that distributorship with the most amount of sales in the entire world. And then in 2018, became a divisional supervisor in Australia for 6 months, and then went on to run the Midwest division, which there's 20 divisions, and we had about 56 offices under us. In 2019, we were the number one division in the world. So we not only did it once, Brent, just with our group, then we took 56 basically CEOs, and we had the number one division in the world. So
that's always awesome. I know some people, when they hear that, they kind of go, wow. And then that's opened a lot of doors for you to become a speaker and kind of a coach for other folks getting into the, into direct sales and things like that. Talk about a little bit how that really did you make the switch from being just a sales guy into becoming a coach and a motivator? What was that transition like for you?
Yeah, so it was really in my heart to speak and coach. And, I had the privilege of being with Dr. Emmanuel Ziga up there in Seattle under his, leadership. And I was actually with one of your dearest people in your life, Bob Harrison.
Yep.
We just finished number one in the world. It must have been like the first quarter, January, February of 2015, I believe. And Dr. Increase, Bob Harrison, said, hey, I want you to come speak in Hawaii. And that was really kind of what opened the door for me. But I already had in my spirit and some desires, and actually spent quite a bit of money to be mentored by John Osseroff, who's in the movie The Secret. And he kind of led me to write my book, which also was done there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So being number one in the world had led to a book and led to public speaking. Then my biggest speaking event was in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
Wow. Now, Josh, when you become a speaker like that, it's really it's a different shift. And you start speaking and you start to kind of moving around the world. And you're coaching people as well as you're still doing some direct sales. But then all of a sudden you decide you're going to move to I don't know if it's because you wanted to come down to the sunshine, or was there some other door that God was opening for you that you moved and pulled up everything from Seattle to the Midwest and then on down to Florida? What was the door that opened up for you down there?
Yeah, well, so before we moved to the Midwest, I wanted to live in the great state of Florida, the Tampa or Orlando area. And my wife didn't feel led at the point, or didn't feel released. And then a door opened up where we were going to move out of our residence there in the Cincinnati greater area, Southeast Indiana. And my sister lives in Citrus Springs, which is in Citrus County, just outside of Ocala, kind of in between Orlando and Tampa. And we found a house that we loved, and just that led to prayer and led to a door opening. So we've been here since June of this year. So,
are you able to talk about what the door opening was?
A little bit. The one was the house, of course, just
Yes.
how that fell into place. It was the right place, the right time, just the right house for us. My wife liked it. And then when she, had prayed, she had felt led that it's time. We've been released, time to go. And I was going to fly back and forth from, the Tampa airport or Orlando, because I live right in the middle, basically,
Yeah.
and still cover my division. And then just a few months later, the company I work for decided to go a different route. They offered me a different division from like Idaho over to Western Nebraska. And so by turning that down and really just stepping back out into independent distributor again, it led to the movie, and it led to becoming the chairman of the board of Faith Haven Christian Retreat Center. So those doors opened up almost immediately within months.
Now, when you say you were going to travel back and forth, are you talking about flying from Cincinnati down to the Florida? Because I've done that flight many times myself. So
yeah, so I'd fly from Tampa to Cincy, or Tampa to Detroit, Tampa to Chicago, or Tampa to Green Bay. So my territory is Western Minnesota, basically all the way to the west side of Ohio and all of that 90% of Indiana. So I was going to fly any of those airports from really Green Bay down to Cincinnati and everywhere in between. So
yeah, I've done many a flights out of CVG myself. So it's funny, we may have been on the same plane sometime, didn't even know it. Let's talk about now the Faith Haven Christian Retreat Center. Talk about that. I mean, I know that's a real big deal for you to really have this place where people can come to.
Yeah, so I went to a church event. It was all men's, and it was at a church that we were looking for, 3 or 4 different churches that we attended. And I sat next to a gentleman, and he started explaining what he had built, which was ropes courses, horses, bunk houses, can sleep up to 40, 20 men, 20 female, with 5 women restroom, 5 men's restroom, and a fellowship hall that can seat 70. And it gives me chills right now. And so I ran out to my car, I got my book that your father-in-law endorsed.
Yeah.
And I believe it's chapter 6 in the book is all about my vision to have a children's camp in Costa Rica and around the world. And he has already built it with the exception of like 1 or 2 items. So if you took like 10 bullet points that I wanted in a Christian retreat center, this gentleman and his wife, amazing couple, Scott and Diane, they already had it. And they were looking for some leadership. So it took them about a week of prayer. And then they got some confirmation from some of their leaders. And so Scott stepped down to become the vice chairman. And then they voted me in as the chairman of the board of a 65-acre ranch, you could say, here in Central Florida. So
wow. And so what kind of events do you have there? I mean, is it across the board, youth camps, kids camps, men's and women's retreats, is marriage retreats, everything?
Yeah, so they have quite a few events, right? It does have obstacle courses, like 7 different rope swing zip lines, but it's also good for fellowship hall and retreats. So we've had Wounded Warriors there. We had Wawa come out for a leadership training session. It was a brand new Wawa, which of course is like a huge chain of convenience stores.
You're speaking my language. That's like my favorite place to go right there. I could eat,
it's pretty awesome.
Coffee, everything right there.
It does everything. And, they were set back a little bit with COVID and a few other restrictions, but we're basically right on the cusp of, Faith Haven 2.0 relaunch. We just are partnering with Harley Davidson of Crystal River, and we're working out the details now, but we're going to have a raffle here coming up where we're going to basically sell 500 tickets at a $100 ticket, and one lucky winner will win a new Harley Davidson. And that's going to be a fundraiser for the camp And so, yeah, we could do youth. There's about 40 pastors coming from Nigeria with another church. They've reached out to us to potentially stay there. So it's open really year round for sleeping or team building events.
That's incredible, Josh. Now, I'm going to ask you a question that I think is probably extremely relevant in people's lives, because you've had chapters of success wherever you've gone, and you've just pulled up and moved to another place, and then you do it again there. And then now it just seems like you're right on the road again in another spot, another new spot, that you're getting ready to just repeat the same kind of success and even greater. What's the secret? Because these last couple of years have been really hard for people, and people have found themselves plucked up where you're kind of doing it more, I want to do this. People have seen their life get plucked up by events that they didn't see coming. What's the secret to getting into something new and repeating the success?
Yeah, I would say in his presence. So that's what IHP Global stands for. But just being in his presence. And Matthew 6.33 is a verse that my wife and I have lived by, which of course is seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you. So I think all these things, and it hasn't always been easy, Brent, right? But if you stay plowing forward, putting God first and seeking first the kingdom of God, I do believe things seem to fall into place. And that's been our secret, I would say.
All right, so I completely 100% agree that keeping God first there and staying in His presence is key. But then, as we get into practical things, I know that God guides everybody's steps and everybody's journey is a little bit different. But is there a practical thing that I know that, like, I can see behind you there. There's a lot of vision casting, and it seems like when you were walking before the show, folks, we were trying to find the best spot for Josh to sit. Yeah. There's lots of stuff on the walls that are communicating something. Is that something practical that you do? You try and keep things in front of you, or?
Yeah, for sure. So, vision boards and all this stuff is on our vision board, and then taking calculated risk. But I think it's, going step by step and understanding that, sometimes the greatest success is when you're scared. And so comfortable moving to Florida, but I felt like we had to do it, even though it was maybe against the grain of some people in my life that wanted it. But key mentors supported it. And most importantly, my wife, who's a praying wife, supported it. And we felt led to be now in Florida. So
what a great way to look at things. Some of the greatest success in your life comes when you're scared. I mean, that is a polar opposite of what most people say, because when people get scared, they just stop. But you have that's a great attitude to have, that I'm scared, but now that just gives me a chance for greater success. That's so awesome. All right, you got a new book coming out. It's called Elevate. Who else wrote it with you, and what's the vision of the book?
So it's been a journey. It's actually 3 years, and we're pretty much at the final stages. And it's a collaboration, and so it's my book, and I've basically partnered with 25 other successful men and women from around, I believe, 7 different continents, and they all wrote about 1,500 words of leadership. And so the book is Elevate, and the subtitle, really, we haven't confirmed it yet, but somewhere along the lines of where leaders elevate other leaders, and something along that, where it really felt that I wanted to speak to leaders of leaders that have all written in the book, some of the people and just men and women from around the world, and in all areas of life. A lot of them are Christians, but there's business people, there's a dentist, there's an attorney, there's senior pastors, there's worship leaders. And so we have quite a walk of life in the book.
And that's due to drop when?
The goal is right around the first part of next year is when we're just at the final stages there.
That's so awesome. All right, last thing, let's talk about the movie. I feel like, we've seen each other a lot at the events, and you've always been a good sport because for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, my brother-in-law and I, we tend to be the event MCs, and we make fun of our speakers and kind of roast them a little bit. And Josh has always been a great sport about all of that. He's been a successful business person, coach, and a mentor, the butt of jokes for me and Brian, and yet suddenly you're into something else. And I look on Facebook one day, and you're starring in a movie, or you're going to be a lead, one of the leads in a movie called The Greatest Coach of All Time. Where did this come about, and how did you get this role?
That's a great question. So this book actually, I believe, was really birthed in Hawaii at Dr. Bob Harrison's event Increase 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I brought a friend and he brought his brother, and he actually stayed in our room. And, it was, he was encouraged by Bob Harrison. He was encouraged by the speakers of that event. And Dr. Increase had him come on stage, and he brought his guitar from Tampa, Florida, where he flew all the way to Maui, Hawaii. And he went back so inspired 4 years ago. He wrote this basically book in 30 days, which is, you would think it's a true story when you see the movie coming out here, hopefully by Easter. But the greatest coach of all time is Jesus. And we have literally numerous, actors in it. The A-list actor is Dean Cain, who's the father of the star quarterback. So it's a football movie. And then my role is Coach Big Bob. I'm one of the assistant coaches, and I take over the team at the end of the movie to get a win. There's humor in the movie. There's professional athletes in the movie. And the entire movie was filmed here in the Tampa Bay, St. Pete area. So.
And you got Dean Cain to be in the film, and that's, of course, we all grew up with him as Superman and Lois, and he's been in some other great Christian films as well. But you were telling me that some of the professional players you've gotten to be on set with quite a bit. This sounds like an incredible thing that's getting ready to happen. Yeah,
Dexter Jackson, who was the MVP and Super Bowl Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was the champion and the MVP. I believe he had 2 touchdowns, or at least 2 interceptions in that game. And then Michael Clayton is one of the stars in the movie as the head coach of the rivalry team that we I won't tell all the details, but you can finish the line. And Clayton won a Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants, then was a wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. And he also was a national championship at LSU. And so I got to know him a little bit. And then I met Dexter Jackson on set. And it's just going to be a hilarious, funny, inspiring movie. So it's got everything from humor to inspiration and everything in between. So,
wow, I can't wait to see it. Josh, before we let you go, I'm just going to give you a little bit of room here to just say whatever's on your heart to really encourage people that are maybe moving and changing seasons in their life, just to speak something into their life.
Yeah, so change is good, right? I think the power of association, who you hang out with, is very important. Don't be afraid, to follow that still voice of the Holy Spirit to lead you to new endeavors. And very excited for the future, and very excited, what may seem in the world like a setback, but really this entire movie is about a comeback, and it's 40 basically days, 40 challenges, 40 scriptures. And, they say it takes 21 days to form a new habit. So anybody that's listening, watching, can be in a completely different place in 21 to 40 days. So I encourage you just to take a step of faith. And it's not basically not to be afraid, and just be encouraged that you can do it, and just go for it. So it's awesome.
Amen.
Thanks.
Man, folks, this is Josh Liske, and somebody that we consider a friend. Here's his information coming up on the screen right now. He's really just made a difference in so many people's lives. But there it is, Faith Haven Christian Retreat Center. You can follow along with them at faithhavencrc.org. You can follow Josh on social media, josh.liske, and it is Liske, not Lisk, on Facebook and on Instagram. It's at Josh Liske. And then if you'd like more information about the movie that's coming out with Dean Cain and, of course, Josh and some other folks that we know, you can follow along on Facebook at The Greatest Coach of All Time. Josh, man, I couldn't be happier for you, and I'm so glad that we got to finally make this connection and have you on the show. Best of luck with the book, best of luck with the movie, and have a great holiday season, and we can't wait to see you in person.
All right, thanks. Cheers. Thank you. God bless.
All right. Take care. All right. That's Josh Liske, everybody. And now let's stop for directions. In the Old Testament prophet book of Isaiah, chapter 41, God makes a powerful statement when he says to Israel, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you, and I will uphold you by my righteous right hand." As I was listening to Josh, I couldn't help but notice change is a part of life. However, big change, forced change, unusual change, like so many people have had forced over them the last 2 years, is a place where many people's lives are destroyed. However, listening to him, I can see that in the face of change, you can still be successful. You do not have to allow the events of the last years to be the defining events that will state who you are. These events do not have to state what you can do and how well you can do it. Even if it was the loss of a job, the closing of a company, or worse yet, the loss of a loved one, you can still dictate what kind of life that you're going to live. Will it be different? Sure. But I loved listening to Josh talk today about how being scared has also led to some of the best victories in his life. The question for you today is, can you still have a great victory in spite of what has happened to you? I say the answer is emphatically yes. There have been wounds, there have been hurts, and there have been times when your heart has been torn out. But despite the reason, you can still rise and live the life God wants you to live. Why? Because God never changes, and he promised us he would help us. He would hold us up by his righteous right hand. And in spite of all the change that has come around you, God still has great plans for you. Cling to him. Turn to him. Stay faithful to God, and he will direct your path. That's going to wrap it up for the show today. My thanks to Josh Liske for coming by and sharing such great wisdom with us today. I'm so grateful to Jody for doing a great job over there in the control room and making everything happen. I'm so grateful for you to come by and spend some time with us. Come back with us on Friday as we have another great show just before we head into the Thanksgiving holiday. Until then, I hope we helped you find what you were looking for as we expanded your search. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for joining us today. Connect with us on @ExpandingYourSearch on Facebook and Instagram and @ExpandingSearch on Twitter. Relive any of our episodes on YouTube. We are available wherever podcasts are found, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can also download the Direction Ministries app on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Take some time today to expand your search and stop for direction.